Hey guys, Pre-Marketites here, and as you guys I'm sure have already definitely seen, the new Pokemon games have finally been announced, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. Not only did they come out with a ton of footage for these games, but they also did a Q&A just after. So we have a ton of new information to go on based on these games. It's no longer speculation, a lot of things we do already know, and though there's a lot of mystery, you can kind of deduct what these games are going to be like based on what we learned last night. And you guys already know that my favorite aspect of a Pokemon game is shiny hunting, so as soon as I get a new reveal like this, my brain initially goes to, can you shiny hunt in these games? How is it going to work? Can the starters be shiny? All these things. So I'm going to go over my thoughts. I'm going to tell you guys what I think, what I've deducted from what we've seen so far, and what we can expect for shiny hunting in Pokemon Switch. But I gotta be honest, as soon as I started watching this trailer, I kind of figured out that these are probably not going to be huge shiny hunting games for the Pokemon community. That being said, do not get my words twisted at all. I'm super excited for these games. I cried watching the trailer because I'm a big freaking baby. I absolutely love every single aspect of Pokemon, so even if shiny hunting isn't huge in these games, I am super freaking pumped to finally play these in November. Like I said, I'm not gonna try and talk too long about this, but without further ado, let's get into it. The first big question that I kind of just want to get out of the way is whether or not shinies will be encounterable in these games. The reason people are even questioning this is because these games are based on Pokemon Yellow, a game that came out before shiny Pokemon kind of even existed, and because this reboot is just the original 151 Pokemon, it's a little worrying to some to think that Pokemon like Zubat won't be evolving anymore. If you hatch an egg for Pikachu, if there even is egg hatching, it's gonna be a Pikachu and not a Pichu. So if you take an idea like that and you bring it to shiny Pokemon, it kind of is like, oh crap, maybe we won't have shiny Pokemon in this game. That being said, of course there's gonna be freaking shiny Pokemon in this game. I feel like that goes without saying. Shinies have become a very well-known staple in the Pokemon franchise, so just because they're basing this on a game that was dated before they existed doesn't mean that we aren't going to get them anymore, especially when you take into consideration the fact that Pokemon Go is a huge part in these games, and shiny Pokemon are right now the only thing that is keeping a lot of people playing Pokemon Go. There's obviously a ton of cross-compatibility there, so if you just take the fact that you can find shinies in Pokemon Go and transfer them to these new games, yes, you're gonna be able to find shinies in Pokemon Let's Go, but whether or not they work the same way, that's a different story. Moving right along from that, an idea that I kind of wanted to bring to light is that in Pokemon Go, shinies are released in little spurts. They're not all released at once, and there were no shinies in the game initially. So this is potentially something we could see in these new Pokemon games. If you have no idea what I'm talking about because you don't keep up with Pokemon Go, I'll make it very brief. There are outbreaks, there are different events that happen pretty much every week now that release new shiny Pokemon into the game. Once these shinies are in the game, you can find them at any moment, but during these events is when the shinies are released. So yes, that's a little disappointing for someone like me to think that maybe that's how it will work in the new games, but I feel like it's an idea that we have to kind of expect to handle when these games come out, because it's very possible. It's something that can happen. Now, to calm you guys down who are worried about an idea like that, they did say in the Q&A afterward that these games are not going to rely heavily on online play, and you don't need to be linked up to it always to play these games, so I can't imagine that shiny Pokemon are going to be linked to only online play. But being this is kind of like a hybrid Pokemon game between a main series Pokemon game and Pokemon Go, I think that maybe shinies could be linked to in-game events like swarms and outbreak weeks that are just kind of like on the internal clock. We have seen a variation of swarms in almost every single Pokemon game in the past, so it kind of just makes sense to me that maybe they'll do this. I don't know, it's a little disappointing to think that shinies will be solely linked to that, so like everybody will be hunting the same things, but that's how it works in Pokemon Go, and it seems to be exciting for a lot of players, so they are taking a more simple route. This could be something that they do. I'm not saying 100% that that's how it's gonna be, but I am saying that you should be prepared to expect that and handle it if that's what we're handed. Moving right along from that, how you encounter Pokemon in these games is kind of a toss-up as well. There is encounter grass, but there's a lot of overworld Pokemon too, the way you see in Pokemon Go, and in the trailer, you see the trainer running into those for the encounters, and you don't really see any grass encounters. So is it possible that there are no wild grass encounters in these games and everything is based solely off of the overworld sprites? Yes, it's very possible. Do I think that's how it's gonna be? No, I don't think that they would include grass in these games like this if there weren't encounterable Pokemon. And yes, they did ask a question about wild battles in these games. They said no wild battles, but that just means you can't attack the wild Pokemon. So does that mean that you won't be able to encounter in the grass? I'm not really sure. I don't think that that's what they meant by that. But because I do not know for sure, obviously we're going to focus solely on the overworld sprites and models of the Pokemon that pop up. Right in the trailer they gave us last night, we got a very brief showing of like how these Pokemon will appear in the overworld. You can be running around and they'll just pop up next to you. So do I think that they can pop up as shiny in the overworld? I think it's very possible, especially when you consider the fact that these Pokemon games were in development before even Pokemon Go came out. Yes, the in-game mechanics are very similar to Pokemon Go. Does that mean that they'll be exactly the same same as in Pokemon Go? No, I really don't think so. But yeah, even after saying all of that, I will say my personal opinion, I don't think they'll appear shiny in the overworld. We haven't gotten that in any other Pokemon game, so I don't see them automatically just throwing that in here. And maybe it will work like in Pokemon Go, where if you encounter a shiny Pokemon and you run from it, if that overworld model is still there and you encounter it, it could very well still be shiny in these games. Once again, yes, that is a disappointing factor for shiny hunters. We love to be able to sit in front of a standard overworld sprite and encounter it over and over and over to get it shiny. Also, this would guarantee a 100%. You wouldn't have to repel trick or anything like that. No phasing at all, just a straight up encounter till you find it type deal. I'm also really curious about whether or not there are natures in these games or if there's abilities, because if there's no abilities, then you can't really increase the rate of finding Pokemon with Illuminate and things like that. There are so many little things when it comes to shiny hunting that a lot of people don't think about, but if you simplify a Pokemon game as much as they are with these, then naturally shiny hunting is going to be a lot different. Even if they don't appear shiny as overworld sprites, I do think that as soon as you capture the Pokemon and have the buddy Pokemon walking behind you, I think they're gonna appear shiny. I think that goes almost without saying. We had shiny Pokemon walking behind us in Heart Gold Soul Silver, so if they could do it then I almost 100% guarantee that it's gonna happen this time. And so if that's the case, I'm super excited because in the Q&A afterwards, they said this: any Pokemon that's large enough in Let's Go, you will automatically ride. So I guess that means you can ride your own Pokemon, and so if you have shiny Pokemon and they appear shiny walking behind you and you're riding them, then ride Pokemon can be shiny. So that Onix that you saw in the intro, it could be green, or the Charizard could be black. There's an endless possibilities of the shiny Pokemon that you could ride. It's gonna be completely insane, so I can't freaking wait for this. It is a little bit of a bummer knowing that it's the original 151 Pokemon, so you probably can't transfer shinies that you have in other games to these games, only Pokemon Go. But you know, if I can freaking fly on a giant shiny Dragonite, are you joking? I'm not gonna complain about that. I just got an email. And if you were wondering if you could just transfer your shinies immediately when you start the game, you can't. They also said this: the ability to transfer from Go to Let's Go opens up halfway through the game. So you're gonna have to get through the game a little bit before you transfer Pokemon, which I think is a good thing. If you can only encounter through overworld sprites, I think encountering is gonna be ridiculously slow. So naturally, like in Pokemon Go, when encountering is ridiculously slow, the shiny odds are way higher than normal. Once again, another natural assumption, I think that the shiny odds will be the same as in Pokemon Go, 1 in 500 or whatever they are. They even went as far as to say 2019 games are in development, and those are gonna be more so like the main series X and Y and Sun and Moon. So that translates to me that shiny hunting is going to be very different. These games very much feel like a transition game for Pokemon Go players and old Pokemon players, so it doesn't really make sense to give them really easy shiny finds in Pokemon Go and then all of a sudden turn around and then be like, why can't I find one? Why can't I do it? I just don't see them taking that direction in these games. That being said, I think the shiny odds will revert back to normal when we get to the new games coming out in 2019. I think those games are going to be more the caliber of what most of you guys are looking for. But even knowing all of this and thinking that shinies may be easier and that everything's going to be different, I'm really excited. I can shiny hunt in all of my old games. I have so many hunts and targets and Pokemon that I can hunt in games that I have. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about the possibility of shiny locks in these games. I think at this point it almost pretty much goes without saying that Eevee and Pikachu are their starter Pokemon, though they keep referring to them as buddy or partner Pokemon, so I think that's a little strange, but they do take a place in your party. You still have a 16-member party, so they probably are the starter Pokemon. That being said, I do think that they're probably going to be shiny locked, as sad as that is. You can evolve them, which I found weird, but that's true. They did say that in the press conference, and also you can dress them up, which they showcased in the trailer. So with all of these things keeping in mind and knowing that they're such a huge part of the story probably, I don't see them being shiny huntable. I just really don't. But they did mention that you can find Eevee and Pikachu in the wild, so you can evolve those. You can probably shiny hunt them. So if you do want to have a shiny evolution, then by all means, it's probably going to happen, just not with the one that you get from the start. And as far as shiny legendaries in these games go, I'm gonna be honest, I have no freaking clue. I personally think they'll be shiny locked just because they're legendary Pokemon. If we go based on the idea that once you encounter it, it stays the same Pokemon every time, then obviously if you encounter it once and it's not shiny, then you're not getting a shiny one. But if we go based on the idea that you can encounter it and run away and it changes the IVs and personality, then, you know, maybe they're shiny huntable. Once again, this is a huge only time will tell sort of thing. I'm betting my money on no, basically because I don't want to get my heart broken. But like with everything else, we're just gonna have to wait and see. So I'll probably do a follow-up video once we figure out more about these things. But I just wanted to kind of get my ideas out there, let you guys know what I was thinking. You guys can let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. I am super excited for these games regardless of the shiny hunting aspect. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. If you don't, also let me know that too. I want to know what you guys are thinking in regards to these. If you enjoyed this little shiny hunting analysis video, please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I might be doing another Breaking Supreme very soon on the release that we got. If you guys are enjoying that series, I'm having a lot of fun making it. It's really fun to have the old Arcanine character back. I love putting this mask to use, so if you guys enjoy it, if you guys want to see more, also give this video a thumbs up so I can know. Thank you guys so much for watching. More videos are coming very soon, but until next time, this is Supreme Arcanine signing out. See you guys later.